Hi, hope you're all doing well. So, just yesterday or a few days ago, depending on when this goes live, there was an interesting incident on Egypt's Suez Highway. Some guy was driving around like a madman and threatened the safety of people around him, apparently under drugs, which was confirmed later. Now, you might be thinking, so what? People drive under influence everywhere, all the time. What's the big deal? And you would be right. In fact, this video is not at all about the incident itself. It's more about the implications behind it and the reaction to it. I'll explain in just a minute, but first, let's just watch the recordings from people who were there when it happened. The first one is of the chase itself. It's not uncommon here for people to joke around with their cars. Irresponsible, of course, but even that is not the case here. This is a guy driving erratically around complete strangers, endangering them. Also notice how he's holding his car door open throughout the whole thing. Driver keeps trying to ram other cars off the road or block them with his vehicle. It is worth noting that what he's doing is even crazier than you would think. Right now in Egypt, imports are halted or heavily restricted, and the car and spare parts market are held. So for him to ruin a vehicle such as his in such a time like this is beyond insane, because it would cost a ton of money and time to get fixed, assuming he even can get it fixed. The only one present at the scene who can do anything about it is this vigilant truck driver, considering that his big ass trailer is the only vehicle pretty much that can stop him without sustaining much damage itself. Notice how there's a police car now on the road, here to put an end to this, presumably, right? Not so much. Even at their checkpoint, they failed to stop him. He literally just broke the little barrier and ran off. And the shit show continues right in front of the eyes of the police. The civilians did better attempts than that to stop him. The second video is from a different vehicle. It shows the moments when he finally was stopped and apprehended. Notice how there are two civilian cars around him trying to box him in. The police car is not lost, by the way. It's behind him and you see it catch up later. They eventually did get him to stop. The civilian drivers did. And what happens next is, well, it's street justice, I guess. They all come out of their cars and beat the living shit out of him. And the police just watch. I'm not going to show the footage because I don't want to get age restricted, but it goes on for a good while. Someone breaks the fight up and the civilians cuff him up with a zip tie and just leave him on the ground. They even argue at some point who is going to drag him away. Only after all that do the police finally interfere to take him away. Okay, now the main point I want to talk about is not the driver himself. It's the sheer incompetence and absence altogether of police. This chase was documented by civilians. All serious attempts to stop the driver were by civilians, and even the eventual arrest of the driver was carried out by civilians. All the police did was just pick up what was left of the driver and take him to their stations, and they didn't even interfere to prevent him from getting beat up. Like, he could have just actually died. The police could have easily broken this up, or just fired a few shots into the ground or the air to scare the commotion off if they resisted, if the police wanted to. But no, this entire country runs on law of the jungle, and both the people and police know this and are fine with it. We learn to just get things done ourselves, as demonstrated here, and just not wait for the police to come save us. In fact, we are naturally drawn to avoid the police as much as possible, as they only pick on normal citizens, like black people in America. But when it comes to actual hardened criminals or just unhinged individuals like this case, they suddenly become helpless little kittens. It's not just incompetence, by the way, it's unwillingness too. The police are very competent when they want to be, when it comes to silencing whistleblowers or taking out select individuals that oppose their system. Let me tell you something that happened to me personally when I was a kid. My family and I were at a restaurant at night and a fight broke out in a nearby public square. It was pretty close and the fight got really bad. The guys pulled out machetes and shit and had molotovs and it was just a mess. So naturally, we decided to leave as to not get caught in the crossfire. On our way out to our car, we passed a police car. It was just parked there and it had like, I think 4 officers in it. And they all had their guns and even had protective gear on. Like they were ready to stop this if they wanted, but they were not doing anything. And as we walked by, I overheard one of them ask if they should interfere. And the response from the other officer has stuck with me to this day, word for word. He said, "إحنا مالنا يا عم. ده شعب ابن وسخ خليه يخلص على بعضه," which translates to, that's not our business, these people are sons of bitches, let them finish each other off. A police officer watching a potential riot with molotovs and blades break out says, it's not their problem and to just let them finish each other off. If that doesn't tell you we live in a jungle, I don't know what else will, really. And the fact that people are okay with it too.
Also, something very important that I forgot to mention somehow when I was recording is that police salaries are among the highest in Egypt for doing apparently nothing.
Keep in mind this was before the 2011 revolution, which tells us that it's been this way for a very long time. Back to the driver's case, it is safe to say that anyone who had damage to their vehicles are not gonna get any form of compensation from the state whatsoever. And if they do decide to follow through with the legal process, they're gonna spend more than they will end up getting. Here is an example that came up in light of this incident. 2 years ago, my family and I were in a terrible accident caused by a driver who was also drunk or drugged or something. A man in his 50s driving a new BMW ran into us head on El Gona Road. The police came and the paramedics came and we were advised to just walk away since, thank God, it was only material loss. It cost $250,000 to fix. Otherwise, we would end up spending the night at the station if we did file a case. Although the police saw that the man was indeed not okay and there were witnesses from military security guarding a training zone nearby, we were still told to just drop it because we would go through hell to file a case, even though it is our right. This is why people now take matters into their own hands, unfortunately. The silver car is ours and the dark one hit us. I, as an Egyptian whose family has owned a car for years in the past, 100% believe this story. And let's say that you do insist and follow through with the law, or the case goes viral and the state is forced to act, the laws themselves are still grossly incompetent and unjust. Recently, this guy, an actor named Mustafa Haredi, ran over and killed 4 people, allegedly by accident. What did he get? A year in prison. That's it. For killing 4 people, he got 1 year. And considering he's relatively a celebrity, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that his already unfairly short sentence will be spent in much better conditions than the other normal convicts. So, clearly this is a jungle, and to get any form of justice, you have to take matters into your own hands. And a lot of people seem okay with it, maybe even support it. And I guess I can understand where they're coming from. Living under such immense oppression like we do, street justice can be quite cathartic and satisfying to watch unfold, as cruel and unjust as it may be. Now, let's talk about what the police are good at: gathering money. The real kicker is that while watching the guy mess around with the car online, I got a message telling me that I have a fine for 180 pounds. Automated services, promptness, and governance are only for collecting money now. Not only that, but they will even make up weird bullshit traffic violations to coax a few extra pennies out of you. And the process to pay them their fines is extremely painful. Like, I'm paying you.
Take the money! You think I'm a thief?
And you still have to put me through hell? Why? Besides, traffic violations, come on. But wait, there's even more. When I was little, my family were away for a while, outside of Egypt entirely actually, and our car was covered up and parked 100% off the road. When we got back, 3 months later, the car had a shit ton of random violations recorded in their system, in random locations in Egypt. They just randomly assign fines to registered plates in their system when the traffic department doesn't make enough cash in a certain period. Our car had not moved in months, but somehow it broke traffic laws in locations we have never even been to. Makes perfect sense. Here's a very satisfying news report for your viewing pleasure.
مين اللي صوره؟ مواطن مدني. مين اللي مشى وراه؟ مواطن مدني. مين اللي حاول يوقفه؟ مواطن مدني. مين اللي قبض عليه في الآخر؟ مواطن مدني. مين اللي ضربه؟ مواطن مدني. مين اللي نشر الموضوع واتكلم عنه؟ مواطن مدني. فين الحكومة في القصة؟ كانت موجودة، كانت بتتفرج، بس هي حكومة فاشلة. بوليس فاشل، بوليس قليل الحيلة، فضل شايف المهزلة اللي بتحصل دي. على رأي حد من اللي كتب في التعليقات، هو البوليس الفاجر او البوكس الفاجر ما شغلش السرينة بتاعته ليه؟ طب على الاقل كنت توتره، على الاقل كنت تضغط عليه، على الاقل حصره نفسيا، على الاقل الناس تطمن، سواء التريلا ما يروحش يخبطوا، الناس اللي في الكارتة ما ياخدوش حاجز بلاستيك ويطلعوا يجروا. حسس الناس ان في قانون موجود، ان في سلطة موجودة. لكن طبعا لانه نظام بيعشق اللقطة، ومحدش يقول لي انت جايب النظام ليه في القصة، لان الشرطة موجودة. نزلوا لنا بيان ان رجال الشرطة الاشاوس المغاوير قبضوا على الراجل. انتوا ما قبضتوش على حد، الناس هي اللي قبضت، والناس هي اللي صورت، والناس هي اللي شافت، والناس هي اللي ضحكت عليكم ولا زالت بتضحك عليكم. للاسف العالم كله اتفرج، والفيديوهات دي هتترجم بالانجليزي وهتبقى فضيحه كبيره جدا، مش لاي حد، مش للراجل اللي سايق العربيه، لكن هتبقى فضيحه لعربيه الشرطه.
Now, as it is tradition on this channel, here are some of the responses from the internet to the issue. The video of the guy driving the car on a Suez road depicts the state of our country very well. Thuggery is the title of this phase. Police are lions only with the respectable citizens. With criminals, they are but mice. I am worried for the guy who documented this incident by recording it. He might get arrested and charged with and belonging to a terrorist group. These are very good points that this person has made, and yes, those are actual charges that they stick onto anyone they want to get rid of. We will see. Time will tell if this happens. The method of security in Egypt is that the country secures itself with folk law and acquired rights. So just don't bother us and go sort your own problems out away from us. The people are left at the people's mercy. The law is used very little, and if so, it's used as a weapon for the privileged more than a tool to exact justice and force order. The mob justice fits the third world well. A direct relationship between how much oppression a person is put under and their desire for revenge and spite exists. This is a subliminal change that happens to us as a reaction to the rapid change in our environment. This was a response to someone who was cheering for the violence the people carried out on the driver. And as sad as it is, this person's not wrong. Reactions on posts about the incident on Facebook are mostly haha reacts. Nobody even sees anything wrong with this at this point. Hell, even I catch myself doing this on certain things. Life here just fucks us up, even if you are by nature a peaceful individual. Final thing before I let you go, let's just assume that this was happening in a respectable country. Let's count how many violations happened in this whole shit show, completely neutrally, not taking any sides. Back to reality, only the driver got arrested.
It is also worth noting that so far we have no clue who this guy is or what he looks like.
And he is yet to be sentenced, so we don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe the people who recorded this will also get into trouble, but it's less likely now that this has gone viral AF. That's it. Everyone else moves on with their lives, including the police.
Hold up.
And whoever got hit walks away with a dent in their car. This is Egypt. The Egypt that we, Egyptians, have to face on a daily basis. There are countless stories similar to this, from my own personal life and public cases alike. That's just the way it is, and for me and many others, that's the way it has always been. Anyways, this isn't really news to me at all. I'm not even sad actually at this point. Nobody got hurt, which is good. If you found this video useful, kindly drop a like. And if you like this type of content, consider subscribing. I regularly report on Egypt stuff, bridging the language barrier for you. If you want to help my escape from Egypt, you can support me financially on Buy Me a Coffee. It only takes a minute and no sign up is required. Every donation is a step closer, and you also get a shout out at the end of my next video every time you donate. I also have a Discord server if you want to come hang out with me personally and some of my viewers. All that being said, I love you all so much, and until next time, take care.